You ask about the house-elves. Foolish curiosity. And yet, if you're to understand anything of magic, anything real at all, you must begin in the dark beneath your great hall, where laughter and roast chicken abound. There lie chains, not made of iron. Bars steel no much worse, chains of silence, chains of obedience, of magic cast long ago by hands far crueler than your soft, idle generation could stomach. Come closer. You won't like this tale, but then the truth rarely concerns itself with being liked. Before the chains, long before Hogwarts opened its hallowed gates, before the ministry of magic corrupted every parchment with bureaucracy, before even the founders etched their legacies into stone, there were the elves, not slaves, not servants, but beings of raw, wild magic. The elves, or elevera, as they called themselves, in a tongue now lost, once lived hidden, deep in enchanted forests, across highland glens, and beneath the roots of ancient trees. Their magic was instinctive, not taught, not calculated, like ours, but felt. They sang spells, whispered to wind and flame. They needed no wandant. They were not weak, not by any stretch some. Even say the Elevara taught the earliest humans how to harness magic, but we humans, wizards, do not like to remember our debts. We rewrite them. The first sign of betrayal came when the humans founded their great cities. Magic became something to own, to register, to measure. The ministry of magic didn't exist then, but greed did. Fear followed close behind. Then the elves, too free, too unpredictable, too powerful, as the great binding. We don't teach it in history of magic. Professor Binns, insufferable even in death, drones on about goblin rebellions. But not this. A secret meeting was held among the most powerful wizarding families, pure bloods. Naturally, the name Malfoy was there long before Lucius sullied it further. So to the Carrows, the Naughts, and the Elder Blacks, they saw the elves not as threats, but as opportunities. Wizards knew they could not destroy them, not without great loss. So they found another path. They would enslave them, not with chains. No, that would be too obvious, too easy to resist. Instead, they created a spell, a binding oath. Old magic, forbidden magic. They twisted the elves' own instincts, loyalty, honor, servitude to family, into traps whence bound the elf could never disobey. The more loyal they became, the deeper the bond etched into their magic. And here's the final cruelty. Over generations, the elves forgot the binding, became part of who they were. The chains passed down in blood, memory, magic. They stopped longing for freedom. They began to fear it. The gift of clothes. Yes, the clothes too. Give a house elf an item of clothing is to set it free. That's what the law says. But who do you think made that law? The same families who bound them. It's a trick, a loophole, a mockery. The elf bound to serve cannot ask for release. It may only hope its master grows careless, drops a sock, tosses a coat due. You see the indignity. Not only must they serve, but they must wait in silence, praying for the clumsiness of their oppressor. You call that Mercy Darby was one of the few who ever dared speak openly of freedom. Brave, yes, but damaged. They called him mad for wanting what was already stolen. Kitchens of Hogwarts, you enjoy your feasts, don't you? Roast lamb, treacle tart, pumpkin juice on tap. You know who makes it, who prepares every meal, every dish, every single night without fail. House-elves, they dwell in the kitchens below, dozens of them, unseen, unpaid, unthanked. Oh, yes, they smile, they giggle when you visit, they bow, even when you beg them not to. They are not happy. They are programmed, conditioned, trained to smile, so you won't notice the chains. Professor Duck. Yes, I know what you think of him. He tried, he gave them choice, but even he could not undo centuries of bondage with kindness and lemon drops. Hermione Granger formed that pitiful little group spew, and do you know what happened? Laughter. They laughed at her, the students, the staff, even the elves. That's how deep it goes. The wound is so ancient that they can't even see. It bleeds as forgotten rebellion. There was once an uprising, few know of it. Fewer still speak of it. The year was 1320. A clan of house-elves from Wales, led by a defector named Brelther, fled the estate of a pure-blood family. They did not go quietly. The binding was strong, but Brelther had learned to bend it, not break it, but weaken it. She taught the others, and they ran for 1 full season. They lived free in the Black Mountains, hidden, hunted, hated. The ministry sent wizards after them, not auras, executioners. The event was buried, disguised as a goblin. Dispute. Brelther was never captured, but the elves she saved were play enslaved. A punishment was severe, not death, something worse. Memory charms. Powerful ones the elves forgot. Brelther forgot. The rebellion forgot. Freedom. A mirror. In the dark I once met a house elf who served in the Department of Mysteries. Yes, even they use them. He had no name, or rather he had forgotten. Polished prophecy orbs, all day, every day. For 50 years, I asked him once whether he had ever wanted to leave. He stared at me blankly. Leave what, sir? That was his answer. Not defiance, not fear. Willed ignorance instilled so deeply that he could not imagine the concept of a victor. Chains had reached his soul, and now the world changes. Yes, but not evenly. Not kindly. We tell tales of Dobby and creature. We say, see, they can be free, but how many more are still hidden, still working in pure blood homes, afraid to speak? How many more dream of liberty, but dare not name the dream you? Students think Voldemort was the only darkness, but the real evil, the subtle one, it lives in comfort, in inheritance, in ancient houses with silver crests and velvet walls. It doesn't shout. It whispers. You are meant to serve as the truth beneath the floorboards. So now you know the next time you sit in the great hall, spare a thought for the hands that lit the torches, that cooked your feast, that washed the floor. They are not ghosts, they are not vermin. They are victims of a spell, too powerful, too ancient, too deep for wands to undo. But remember this, the mind is a wand to hand. Sometimes it only takes one voice, one sock, one foolish, brave idea to break a curse knot. All chains are made of metalland. Not all saviors wear cloaks and wear pillowcases and dream.